Your timer is set for 17 minutes.
You know what? Siri be coming in handy. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Busy Blue, and I am back again for the first time in a long time with a Storytime Saturday. This was actually going to be the Storytime Saturday about how I quit my first job ever. The first job I ever quit. But then I decided it should be just the restaurant escapades, because there was so much stuff that happened to me when working at this place that I was like, yo, I have to tell all of these stories. So I'm going to try to put them all together in one little story, I guess. So let's begin. A lot of y'all who have been following for a while, y'all know that I was born and raised in New York. And I always wanted to be a server. When I was younger, I worked at an adult care living facility, which is actually like just a nursing home. But I worked at an adult care living facility, and I worked in the kitchen aspect of the adult care living facility. Now, it was cool. Like, I had no problem with it, but I wanted to, like, really serve. I mean, I was serving old people, but there was, like, pre-planned menus and all types of stuff like that. Like, it wasn't really serving, and I didn't get no tips. So once I went to college, I decided that, yo, when I come back home for like summer break, I'm going to serve. Like, I'm going to go to a real restaurant and I'm going to serve. Should I say that? I'm going to say the name of the restaurant. So after my first year of college in the summer, no, it was actually my first break. It was my first break. I came back home and I went to Denny's. Now, in our city, there's two Denny's. There's one, they're both in the suburbs. Like, none of them are in the city, and I lived in the city. There's one that's a little bit more classy, because that's where all of the white people go, not the non-ethnic people. And then there was another one that was a little bit more urban. That's where all the black people go, because it was a little closer to the city. So I wanted to work at the one that was in the ethnic one. So I went out there and I applied for the job. And I remember the same day, this lady was like, yo, let's we can get this done now. I did my interview, and then it was like, that was it. It was so quick. Got the job. Now, once I started working, I still worked at the adult care living facility because I really loved the place, and I wanted to make sure that I was still, trying my best to show them that I liked the job. So I had two jobs over the summer and the winter breaks. So when the summer came, I actually really started the job at Denny's. Now, I had to learn during the day crew, which are like older women, but it's very slow, and it was older people there. And I learned with them, and I started to learn the tricks of the trade and how to talk to people and stuff like that. I'm a born natural. I think that everybody should serve at least once. It gives you a chance to learn how to talk to people, communicate with them, how to just pivot. Nothing with Ross, but just learning how to pivot around when it's time to like change up the swag or whatever. After I learned everything that I needed to learn during the day crew, I had to move to the overnight crew. Now, the overnight crew, everybody was young. We were all in our like 20s, early 20s. And we worked from like 6 p.m. to like 5 in the morning. Which was good. I had no problem with it. Because it truly did depend on like the type of person you were in the shift. You got better shifts, the better server you were. So I would probably get like the 7 to 7 shifts, which are like nursing hours. But I would get those shifts. So I worked from 7 p.m. to like 7 in the morning. And I had no problem with it because I was a good server. I knew how to close, I knew how to do it. And I was really cool with the cooks and everything. So everything's going well. I really, 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 really like my job. Everything's going well. It used to be another server. Her name was Ashley. And we would compete. So Ashley was the top. I was the only black person working there at the time. Outside of the cooks, which most of them were black. I was the only black server. And Ashley was the top white server. Everybody else was white. So Ashley was the other top server. So we would compete nightly in like, yo, who was about to get the most tips? It was normally me. Which is surprising because this really was like all the white people came to this. I don't want to make this about race, but all the white people kind of came to this Denny's. If you ever heard of like Greece, Henrietta, that's where it was. Greece, New York, that's pretty much where it was. So all the white people came to this Denny's. So it was always kind of interesting to me that I would always beat out Ashley because Ashley she knew everyone. She lived in the area, so people would come and they would actually like definitely ask like, I want Ashley's section. So that was a little hard pill to swallow, but then it made it more difficult because then she started to learn like, yo, I'm making more money than you. Like, let's see, what's the first story that I want to tell? The first story, so my job at Denny's was the first time I was ever called a nigger. Like, it was the first time I was ever called the N-word. Like, to my face. So, I wouldn't say the place that I grew up in was racist, because I don't think so. I think it's one of those places where the blacks are where the blacks are, the whites are where the whites are. But it's not, y'all don't intermingle that much but the city's especially where I live, majority African American. So I remember I was working one shift. It was one of the overnight shifts. I remember John was the one who was actually the manager that day, and I was really, really cool with John. He hated me. I don't want to say he hated me. I'm one of those people who, if I feel like you're not happy or bubbly, whatever, I try to do what I can. John was like very strict, very to the point. Like, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do things. I was like, yo, John, blah, blah, blah. But he gave me preference. Like, he was a really, really, really nice guy. He just he wouldn't show it. He was one of those people who was like, I'm going to give Gerard that better shift. I'm going to give Ashley this better shift. I'm going to give, Tyrone this better shift. I'm going to give... He would give people stuff if he liked them, but he wouldn't... He wouldn't act like he liked you. Let's have, Christopher have that shift. Let's... Anthony will get there. He was like that. Soon he was giving like, yo, Busy Blue, you get this shit. Busy Blue, you get that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he liked me. He liked me. So that on that shift, I started to work at like 8 p.m. At this Denny's, you actually had to do a lot. You had to do the serving of the salads, the drinks, the milkshakes, all of that stuff, And some Denny's you don't have to do that, but at this one you did. If you had like a busboy, then you didn't have to do salads or milkshakes or whatever. But if you didn't, then you had to do all of that. So it was about 11 p. No, let's say like 1. It was like 1 in the morning. Because normally a lot of the drunk people will come to this Denny's overnight, which is why we got more of the young people working overnight. So it was about 1 a.m. in the morning. We're getting tables, I had a huge section. And one of the section that I had this huge corner table in the back. It fit like maybe like 8 people. It was a huge corner table. But that's where the money was, because all of those were booths, and you had like a couple of tables, but most of them were booths. So I got this booth. It was this group of like young white men who came in, sat down. Their party, you could tell they just came out from a good night. So they sat the table down. The host was like, yo, Busy Blue, I just had those people in the corner. Just wanted to let you know that that's your table. And I was like, oh, so that's fine. I'm good with dealing with people. Like, it's just my nature. I'm a people person. So I go to the table. I'm like, yo, what's up? How's everybody doing? Da 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 da. And they're like, yo, we're good. Da 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 da. And I said, yo, while you guys look over the menu, I'm gonna get you guys waters, and then when I come back, let me know what you guys want. So I went, got them all waters, because everybody's drunk during this time. So that was just normally my thing, to just bring people waters first. Got them waters, set them all waters down. Everybody's laughing at what I was like, okay, so can I get you guys anything to drink, or do you know what you want? This one guy, he was like, can I ask you a question? And I was like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, sure. He was like, who told them that we wanted a nigger to serve us? I said, excuse me? I just could not believe my ears. I could not believe my ears. I was, what, 19 years old at this time? Like, he said, oh, no, it's okay. Who told them that we wanted a nigger to serve us? And I said, yo, I'm so sorry. Like, I had no idea that you didn't want niggers to serve you. So let me go get the manager. I'm so sorry. Like, you should have told them at the front. So I went to the manager and I told her, yo, my table just, first of all, they called me the N-word and they said that they didn't want any N-words to serve them. He said, what? And I said, they said that they just didn't want any N-words to serve them. So can we just, I didn't even think about, like, kicking them out or anything like that. I was just like, yo, just give them another server. Like, I'm just not that person. Like, I get angry with racial injustices or whatever, but I'm just not that person. Sorry. So I was just like, yo, can Ashley, somebody else serve them? Like, they just want another server. And he was like, oh, okay. So he went to the table and I see him. Now remember, everybody's white except for me. He went to the table and he's just like, and I'm seeing all this stuff and I'm thinking, what is going on back there? I'm looking from behind in the serving station. I'm like, yo, what is going on back there? All of a sudden I see all the people get up and then they leave. And I was like, yo, John, what are you doing? Like, wait, why are the people leaving? He was like, wait, no one is going to talk to any server like that in my restaurant. Nobody's going to talk to the best server like that in my restaurant. Like, I asked them to leave. That was disrespectful. And, yo, you shouldn't have to deal with stuff like that. And just as an African American, I was just like, yo, I always looked at it like, yo, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. In order for me to keep my job, I need to keep my cool. But he looked at us like, no, you don't need to keep your cool. You need that's it. So yeah, those people left, and that was it. But that was the first time ever. I was 19 years old. It was the first time ever I was called the N-word. I mean, I was called the N-word tons of time after that. After I started realizing it, but that was the first time ever I can recall ever being called the N-word. And like that group of like 8 or whatever white boys, they just left. And they thought it was funny or whatever. So then after that, everything was cool. I never had a problem. That also was the same restaurant that me and my girlfriend, we were supposed to be having a baby. And all of the women, everybody in the restaurant, yo, they were like giving us stuff and but we had a miscarriage. And I remember that I was working that night dealing with like customers or whatever, and she kept calling. Like the drawer where everybody put their phones in, because you don't normally have your phone with you when you were serving. The drawer was like vibrating. Finally, somebody was like, yo, basically, you need to come and get your phone because it's, like, vibrating like crazy. So I was like, oh, let me figure out what it is. And my ex-girlfriend was on the phone. She was like, yo, come outside. Because she was outside. And I hadn't talked to her in so long, but when I went out to talk to her, she had already gone to the hospital and everything. She basically lost the baby. And I left that day. It was just so much stuff that happened at that Denny's for me. But she basically lost the baby. That was one of the first times that I got ready. The first times that I got ready to be a dad, and I couldn't be a dad because we lost it or whatever. But it was just very hard, and I wasn't even expecting it. Like, she calls all the time, so I just knew she was calling. But she was calling like frequently that day, and because she was pregnant, I was like, yo, let me figure out what's happening. And yeah, we lost the child. What else happened at that Denny's? That Denny's was the first time I ever got hit on by a man. So I was serving this table. It was like 2 dudes. I guess they had just came out. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And served them. Everything was cool. No problem. You know, everything was like great. So I remember when I served the table, it was me and Ashley working at night. And we were doing our accounting thing like we normally do. Me and Ashley were working at night, doing what I normally do, He gave a tip that was like rolled up or whatever. And normally when it's busy, and it was busy at the time he came, you don't normally look at things or whatever. You just pick it up and let's go. So I put it in my pouch and I was like, yo, let's go. So that at the end of the shift, whoever was leaving first, which was normally Ashley because she had a daughter at home, we would take all our tips out and we would count them. So I'm taking all my tips out and now we're counting them. I unrolled this tip. It was a piece of paper in the tip, and the guy was like, I just want to let you know, I don't know if you like that or not, but you're so sexy, and here's my number. Yo, I was like 19 years old, man, young. And I was like, what the heck? Ashley took that thing and threw it in the trash because she wanted to know how much money I made. That was the first time I was ever hit on by a man. It was so awkward. And it wasn't even hit on because the person wasn't there. Because he didn't do any of that stuff while I was there. Like, it didn't even make it seem awkward. But I remember who the table was because I remember the tip was rolled up, but I just grabbed it. So to the story. The first time I ever quit my job. So after leaving and going to like my sophomore year of college, so I was like 20, I wanted to do work where I was in college, and I went to college in Washington, D.C. There was a Denny's in Washington, D.C. Now, if y'all from Washington, D.C., it was the Denny's on Benning Road. This was a long time ago, though. This Denny's was so ghetto. I have no other way to say it. It was just so ghetto. And I worked there because it was an easy transfer. And within the company, you can transfer very easily. I went there, talked to them, and I was like, yeah, sure, you can work here. Very easy transfer. Now, this Denny's was a franchise Denny's. And they had like their own thing. I remember the first time I worked one of the tables, and one of the women was like, "Can I get a ginger ale?" And I was like, "Oh no, man, we don't sell ginger ale at Denny's. So sorry." She's like, "No, I get a ginger ale every time I come here." So I went to the back and to the manager, I was like, "Yo, someone's asking for a ginger ale. I don't know what to do because we don't serve ginger ale." He's like, "Oh, take some Sprite, fill it up, and just splash a little bit of Coke in it." And I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Yeah, just take a Sprite, splash some Coke in it, and it gives that ginger ale look." And I said, "Are we fooling these people into thinking it's ginger ale?" Yes, we were. So that's what I did. And I said, "Okay, here's your ginger," and she was okay with it. And that was a thing. Like, people came here. People came and asked for the ginger ale. And we gave them what they thought they was getting. It was an interesting Denny's because I went to college and a lot of the people who worked there were locals. So if you ever been to Washington, D.C., if you've ever been like in the city and immersed in the culture, they have a specific accent, the way that they talk, the things that they do. And I'm not from that place. So I'm from New York and I don't act like that and I don't talk like that. So it was a little different for me. And people at the tables could say, yo, they would always say, "You're not from here, are you?" Or you seem, and people started asking me because I was different. All right, so after working there for I think it was a long bit of time, I started to gain more and more customers. People really, really liked me, but there were also other people there. So, you had your locals who wanted the locals and the friends of the friends, It was once particular day. So I was working there as I was going to college. And I went to the illustrious, the great, the amazing Howard University. Big ups. As I was working there were things that maybe I'll do a video about how, all of the stuff that I was going through at that time, but that'll be later. But I was working there. I came to work at Denny's, came to work. Everything was cool. I started working, started my shift. There are other servers there, but then when you're a server, as you're starting to come in, the other people are leaving who have been working that day. It's like it truly is like a nursing shift. People are starting to leave. So, came in, started my tables. They gave me my assignment, started my tables. Talking to my tables, getting them done. I started to notice that no one else is coming in. Another hour came by. I got more tables. More people are coming in. More customers coming in. None of the other people who are in their shifts are coming in. 2 hours later, more customers are coming in. Nobody else is coming in to work with me. 3 hours later, the same thing. It gets to the point that I have the entire restaurant to myself. You cannot give quality service if you have the entire restaurant. There's no way. There's no way. So I'm like, oh my God, yo, I got all these people. What am I supposed to do? It keeps going. I go back in the back and I say, yo, I talk to the manager like, yo, there's so many people out here. I need help. No, you got it. You can do it. I'm like, yo, I cannot. Yo, I can't give the best service that I want to give with no one else being here. So he's like, no, you got it. At this specific restaurant, there was no... The only thing that the person who did the tables did was just the tables. And that was it. I had to make my own salads, drinks, put in my orders. I had to serve the tables. Everything. You had to do everything but make the food and seat them. That's it. That's a lot. So it got to the point where I had a full restaurant and it was just me. People were asking for this, people were asking for that, people were waiting for a long time. And I realized I can't do it. My integrity is being... Because people were like, yo, what are you doing? I don't understand why it's taking so long. Some people were sympathetic, like, yo, you're the only person here where they have the service. And other people were like, why is it taking so long? Where's my order? Why haven't you been over here? It got so bad. Yo, I went to the manager in the back and I said, yo, I quit. I can't do this anymore. And I told him everything that was going on. You have a restaurant full of tables. I even went through my sheet. This person needs drink. This person needs drink. This person needs drink. I haven't been over here. This person needs food. This person needs food. They need their receipt. It was a full restaurant of stuff. And I had been doing it for 3.5 hours and no one was helping me. And he said, well, what am I supposed to do? You want me to go in here? What? That's what I've been doing. You're mad because I'm telling you that I'm not doing this anymore. You need to go. And his first response was, well, what am I supposed to do? You want me to... What was I supposed to do? Okay? I said, I don't know. I gave him my my chart. Gave him everything that he needed to do. And I said, yo, this is it. I'm leaving. I was walking out and the host was like, yo, where you going, Busy Blue? I said, oh, I quit. It was the most ghetto Denny's I've ever worked in my entire life. Ever. That's how I quit. I walked down to the car, because I was big mad inside. Yo, I'm not doing this anymore. I went to that car, called my mom, and I cried like a baby. Mommy, I just quit my job. I cried like a baby. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I was telling her, like, yo, I feel like I failed myself. And anything I put my mind to, I want to do the best that I can. And I felt like I didn't do that at that time. And she reassured me that everything was cool, everything was okay. And sometimes you got to know your limits. And I knew mine, and it was just bad. Yeah. So that's my story of all my serving escapades. Maybe I'll do my story of the serving escapades in the adult care living facility, because that was way different than serving at Denny's. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do that one day. Yo, if you want to know more about everything else that I do, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Busy Blue, no space, no E. Yo, follow me on Facebook. The Busy Blue. I think I'm going to do another video after church. Yo, this is done really early, so don't judge me. If it's scheduled and it goes all right, yo, I'm proud. Yo, I think that's it. I didn't actually need to get ready. I'm about to go get busy, and you guys stay busy. on. Till next time.